Hello, and welcome back to another video. This is the 10th episode of story in which Naruto is grandson of Madara Uchiha. Naruto learns of this when his Sharingan activates. Let's see how Naruto Uzumaki Uchiha takes world by storm. After you've finished watching, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. The Hokage summit is but 1 week away, just the amount of time Tsunade would need to arrive in her current state. I can still go instead of you. Naruto insists. I'm getting pretty good at this crap. You're in no condition to be fighting off Hokage Genkai thieves and other Kage. No, Naruto. I need to make an appearance myself. It was me who called for this summit in the first place. Besides, your appearance would probably just poke the hive. I'm good for this, and besides, you've assigned the best to me, haven't you? After weeks of back and forth diplomacy, all nations had agreed on each Kage being permitted to bring 2 bodyguards to the neutral nation of Tetsu-no-Kuni, where the meeting would be mediated by the legendary samurai warrior, Mifune. Naruto nods in confirmation, not looking pleased that a vulnerable woman would be heading into the meat grinder. First up is Kakashi, pretty self-explanatory. And Guy, he's a different kind of beast altogether. They'd be foolish to underestimate him. Perfect. And will you relax? Raza will be fine, and from what I understand, the new Mizukage won't be keen on invoking your wrath. I'll take care of things while you're gone. Don't get distracted by gambling dens, Senju Hag. Naruto narrowly dodges a stapler thrown with such force that the window shatters and leaves a gust of wind in its wake. I haven't gambled in years, Uchiha runt. Tsunade grumbles as she leaves. Try not to break my village apart while I'm gone. Bye-bye, Fujita-chan. Bye-bye, Boss-ama. Fujita waves happily. Kabuto plugs in one final tube to the body modification vat. I'd say we're ready to undergo your procedure. Have you scrounged up as much of your original flesh as you could? I found the shattered bones of my right arm and leg, along with some ribs. There's still one piece missing that I'd like to acquire before we go through with this. Obito looks up at Kabuto from his chair, the tubes burrowed into his shoulder, trickling in a steroid that would make his body more receptive to the procedure. I'll grind them up and add them to the body compound. Kabuto looks more than a little excited at the prospect of creating a body that could potentially overcome Uchiha Naruto. Run me through it quickly. I need to know what else I have to get. Obito dislodges himself from the pumps. Kabuto motions to a huge tank, filled with auspicious fluid and a giant of a man with orange hair floating inside of it. Hugo here will be our body mass conduit. By using your flesh and bone as a template, we can transmute other test subjects' bodies to your body's genetic template. Using his Hokage Genkai, we'll replace your organic material that was lost. That's stage 1, getting you back to your original condition. Kabuto moves over to several smaller glass vats. Stage 2 is modifying your original body. Using Hashirama's cells cultivated from the artificial clone that Madara developed, we'll replace cells everywhere that Orochimaru's experiments have concluded are safe. Those will include all of your bones and some of your organs, like your heart. And as part of this step, we'll cycle Nagato's blood with yours, in and out of your body in a loop as a binding agent. The healing properties of the Uzumaki clan blood will speed up the process significantly. Will I still be able to wield the Makuten? Obito questions, looking at the various multicolored fluids in each tank. Of course, but I suspect that you'll want those cells for the use of your Mangekyo Sharingan. Which brings us to stage 3, tertiary implants. Once your body is stable, I'll inject the enzymes collected from Madara's Rinnegan. With everything already done to your body, you should quite rapidly awaken your own equivalent to the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and grant a level of refined vision that you didn't have before. I'll also throw in 2 mild growth hormones, one to bring your muscles back up to speed to recover faster and one that'll help your chakra network adjust and heal from this, shall we say, traumatic procedure. You have outdone yourself, Kabuto. Obito praises genuinely. Your passion for this project has left me in awe. Don't underestimate your value as a test subject. Kabuto gives his own backhanded compliment. But what will you do now? These materials will only last so long in the vats. We should be getting this done as soon as possible. The ground shimmers slightly, and a green plant opens up to reveal Zetsu. The Hokage summit will be beginning shortly. Black Zetsu informs. And this is relevant how? Obito interrogates, uncaring as to what the world thinks of their plan. They wouldn't be able to stop him. Bakakashi will be there as the Hokage's bodyguard. White Zetsu reveals with a jolly inflection. Obito's head turns slowly back to Zetsu, and Kabuto could feel an invisible tension. It is taking place in Tetsu-no-Kuni? Black Zetsu provides without being asked. Obito nods. Zetsu makes itself scarce. My eye has been nurtured by Kakashi's Raiden chakra. I'll be recovering it now. Then, we do the procedure. Don't take too long. Kabuto says, although Obito is already whirling away. The entirety of the Yuki no Kuni team shuffles in awkward silence. Naruto taps his finger on the desk in a slow rhythm. Fujita leaves the room without a word, evidently seeing Naruto's agitation. He speaks methodically. What made you think this would be a good idea? Karen looks sheepish instead of terrified like the others. He made a convincing argument? Yamato tries to explain that Karen couldn't really help her reaction to the Baijuo. Naruto-sama, Karen had been suffering from visions from the moment we got close. Get out. The rest of the team scrambles out of the door. Naruto looks Karen in the eyes, and suddenly they're in her sealscape. He stares down the Kyuubi. How easy it would be to rend you asunder, beast. Madara's spawn, your little Uzumaki wouldn't fare so well. Kurama goads. Willing to give her up to just teach me a lesson? Don't make me laugh, boy. Then be grateful, it is only her life that's stopping me from using you as Madara did. Look at you, submitting to this little pen. Haven't had enough of being a slave? If you're tired of free will, I can take it from you just the same. Look at me, boy. I'm quaking in fear. Kurama mocks. Your petty Sharingan will not work on me, none will anymore. I have ascended on my own. If you do not use your power to protect her, then I'll stuff you back into the ghetto mazo myself. We'll see how much smack you're willing to talk then, vile animal. That was the plan from the start. Karen notes with some amusement that their interaction didn't actually seem malicious. The words are barbed, but it seems to be more of a formality than real hatred. Get it desexed, Karen. Do Baijuo even have a gender? Karen asks intuitively, with some laughter in her voice. Good question. Given the complete lack of balls it takes to have not revealed itself by now, I'm guessing not. Kurama flips Naruto off with his claws. I have questions of my own. Naruto turns somewhat serious. You don't seem to be protesting the idea of being sealed. Why? I don't want to die. Kurama answers bluntly, languidly resting his head over his paw. As naive as it makes me seem, I still cling to father's pale dream. I want to see the world at peace, however briefly. So Baijuo do have self-preservation instincts and desires. Or at least a cleverly designed imitation of sentience. Naruto nods thoughtfully. Is the brat always like this? He's as untrusting as his crazy father was. You get used to it. Karen mumbles, displeased that Kurama is taking up more of Naruto's attention right now than she is. How can I ensure that Mugen Tsukuyomi is impossible? Kurama's slitted crimson eyes peer down at Naruto with interest at the question. That is the very same thing that father thought he had solved. He sealed the ghetto mazo in the moon, a place said to be unreachable. He divided his power between his sons who he entrusted with the safety of humanity, so that the Rinnegan may never resurface. That led to some bloody tales in hindsight. He didn't know the effects that would have on human culture, but as far as he was concerned, a greater threat had been permanently mitigated, the return of the Rinnegan and thus the potential to summon the ghetto mazo and see Mugen Tsukuyomi cast its light upon the world once more. An interesting tale, but it goes against what we understand may have happened. Naruto cross-examines Kyuubi's response. The Uchiha were left a relic, and it boiled down to an instruction manual on how to cast Mugen Tsukuyomi. That involved the reunification of bloodlines to generate the Rinnegan in a host. I am aware of the stone tablet, but as I understood, it was left behind as a warning of what Mugen Tsukuyomi would bring upon the world. If that is your interpretation, then you have reading issues or the contents of the relic were forged. That is to say, if it is even the original in the first place. But you could also be lying. Naruto's eerie eyes look at the kitsune. Whatever. Kurama yawns loudly. But logically, I can't see any way of halting the potential of Mugen Tsukuyomi forever. The statue is indestructible. You'd have better luck removing the Rinnegan from the equation entirely. By destroying the Uchiha and Sanju. Naruto mutters with a disgusted tilt of his lip. You say indestructible though. How? We were under the impression that the sealing process of Baijuo is linear from weakest to strongest, and sealing in the wrong order will destroy the statue. It is the expedient solution, not the only one. You'd sooner starve to death than seal me first. Chakra attracts chakra, the more of it you have, the easier it is to control the chakra of others. Baijuo included. It's faster to seal us in order, but once one of us is in it, natural energy will begin to strengthen it. Naruto stays silent, though his mind whirs obviously to Karen. His motionlessness worries her, unblinking as he stares off into nothing. The creation of all things he muses, calculating. Izanagi. bringing fantasy and illusion into reality. Through the medium of chakra, but does the cost transcend my power? It's already an esoteric piece of history. What can one give up to secure the fate of the world, possibly through sacrifice? People would sooner forfeit their lives than their power in this world. What becomes of those who give up the power to protect and destroy what they want? Karen is completely lost from Naruto's thinking aloud. Kurama rolls his eyes. Like I said. Just the same as his crazy father. He's reaching conclusions that he's not deigning to share. You have given me much to think about, Kyubi. Suddenly, the vision of the sealscape collapses and Karen is standing back in the Hokage office. Send them back in. Naruto says through the intercom, rubbing his forehead. An entire week of trawling through countless files and records had barely scrounged up anything. Taka. Come here. Nico calls out. What have you found? I can't find a thing in this mess, it's so disorganized. Taka responds, taking in the completely unordered piles of files and folders in the dark cavern. Spiderwebs swish in a soft drafty wind, and the floorboard bridges are covered in a grimy moss that makes it hard to stand on without slipping. The old root base had certainly seen better days since Tsunade-sama had completely dismantled what remained of Danzo's little goon squad. The vines creeping down the old pillars of stone had burrowed into any crack and crevice. The lighting left something to be desired, but Taka's Sharingan helped him see in the dark much better than most. Nico and Kuma don't fare so well, relying on torches and instinct to find their footing. Their investigation into a few clans had led them to finding any kind of documentation that might be of some relevance. Official Konoha records only explained what they were looking at, potential discrimination being conducted by the few clans, but nothing concrete to make a passing judgment. They needed proof that was becoming harder to find, until Nico had the bright idea of searching through any of Danzo's old bases. The Shimura were one of the clans implicated, and Danzo had been found at the time of his death to have committed abominable experiments on himself using material acquired from dead Uchiha and Senju. A revolting story, but also a potential lead. Danzo's lack of subtlety in increasing his power may very well be the key that they need to unravel this mystery, to see if it's truly malicious or benign. Either way, Sasuke is getting bored of reading through files. You'll want to read this, Taka. Nico's voice is grave. I hope it's not another file on Danzo stalking my family. No, Sasuke. This is much worse. Kuma, look through that lot of folders, I think we've stumbled on something that Hokage-sama and Naruto-sama are going to need to know. Taka blinks, not expecting Yugao to use his real name. With a sense of trepidation, Taka takes the folder from Nico. He opens it to the table of contents. Uchiha Itachi, age 12. Flight risk level manageable. Induction to route successful. The subject has learned to consolidate himself with the threat of the Uchiha on the entirety of Konoha. However, the subject is unable and unwilling to let go of his attachment to his younger sibling. Sarutobi Hiruzen has attempted to convince the subject that the Uchiha must be bred out or eliminated to prevent the myth of the curse of hatred to continue spreading. The subject reacted violently to Sarutobi Hiruzen. Conclusion: subject values the life of his younger sibling over that of Konoha. However, the subject sees that the Uchiha pose a threat to his newly instilled values. The subject will turn his hand against the Uchiha clan willingly so long as his sibling is spared. The sibling can be eliminated afterwards discreetly. This it's some kind of fantasy. Kuma places the stack of folders that Nico identified as the source of what she found. We will need to cross-check each one. Why? To ensure that the contents of this file can be verified as the truth. Kuma's monotone barely does much to snap Taka out of what he'd just read. Taka, we're onto something big. We need to get through it. Mask yourself. Nico insists. We'll take everything to Naruto-sama right now. I would like to see the stand-in Hokage. Hiyashi announces regally to the temporary assistant, who appears to be filing her nails down. You got an appointment? She asks uncaringly. It is an urgent matter regarding his decision in the recent emergency council meeting. With a dainty press of her long nails to the intercom button, she contacts Naruto through it. Naruto-sama, some Hyuga guy is here for an urgent matter. There's a brief pause. How urgent? Something about the emergency council meeting. She sends back. Is someone dying? Is the village under attack? Don't think so. Then he can book an appointment like everyone else, for fuck's sakes. I'm trying to stop this village from collapsing. You heard him. You need an appointment. I can book you in for later this week? Hiyashi goes to answer, only for the intercom to buzz again. Seriously? Part of me thinks that Senju bitch is some kind of genius for keeping this village running when she's got sniveling morons coming in every 5 minutes to complain that they're not getting some government-mandated discount at the fruit shop. Wah, wah. I'm so fed up that these peons don't roll out the red carpet for me after coming out of the toilet. I know there are homeless people starving to death and freezing in the cold, but my problems are so much worse. The receptionist puts the intercom on mute. He gets like this when he's stressed. She smiles unapologetically. So, I can book you in for Thursday. He spins on his heel and leaves gracefully, though the way his heels slap the floor gives the impression of anger. Day? She finishes awkwardly to thin air. She unmutes the intercom. Guess not. And don't get me started on those civilian council members. Not much you can do to say your kid is useless besides saying lower the academy exam requirements. He's already gone, Naruto-sama. Good. Make sure I'm not disturbed, I have something actually urgent to attend to. Will do. Naruto makes a few hand seals, and a shimmering purple barrier skates across every surface to envelop the interior of the office. Alright, I take it you found something important then? Naruto asks Taka, Nico, and Kuma. Our investigation took us into one of Danzo's old root bases, Nico starts stoically. The Shimura clan was one of the implicated parties, so we felt that instead of being too overt and investigating their clan home, we'd try to find something discreetly in the base of the actually confirmed criminal. We found records of root members with some psychological analysis on those inducted past early childhood. We found the induction record of Uchiha Itachi. Taka confirmed with his Sharingan that the document wasn't forged or a copy. The record implied that Itachi had been groomed by the Sandaime Hokage to eliminate the Uchiha clan based on a fear of a mythological curse, and had done so willingly on the terms that Uchiha Sasuke would be spared. Kuma explains. Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen had not intended to keep their word, but according to the record, Itachi appeared in Konoha again shortly after the Uchiha incident and threatened to hand out Konoha's secrets to enemy nations, as well as replicate what he'd done to their respective clans. Naruto leans back in his chair, and discomfort is quite clear to the Anbu who see his fidgeting. You found this? In an investigation into favoritism in Konoha's hierarchy? He holds his forehead between his fingers. Tell me that this is an isolated incident? That several more of these operations haven't been conducted? Kuma shakes his head and gestures to another folder. Unfortunately, Naruto-sama. This incident and many others have been in the making for a long time. The Uchiha had been pushed to breaking point with subtle propaganda and hearsay, to invoke an attempted coup in which the goal of exterminating the Uchiha could be fulfilled. The members planted in Konoha's mission chain ensured that the Senju suffered a similar fate. Why? Naruto stands up and slams his hand down on the desk, shattering it into pieces as his oppressive chakra heats the room. Why were these plans in place? What did they hope to gain by weakening Konoha in its entirety and genociding innocent people? Children. Give me a motive. Ambition fueled by fear. Kuma states with strain, but confident and unwaveringly truthful. The records put together paint an image of hatred and fear of the potential of the Uchiha and Senju. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo saw the power and potential of these clans and feared them in every way. Instead of challenging them and changing to become stronger themselves, they sought to use deception and bureaucracy to breed them out of existence. The manipulation of a child to exterminate his own family. The morals were never in question. They had a goal they were willing to achieve just so they might have a chance to stand as the strongest in history. The Hyuga were invited into the fold later after Sarutobi tested the waters with his bloodline protection law proposition. Nico, despite being in mask, sounds revolted by the decades-long schemes. Explain the Uchiha to me again. Quickly. As we stated, the Uchiha were steadily pushed to the position of outcasts. Rumors began to fly around Konoha about the Kyuubi attack, callbacks to the era where Madara was able to use them at his whims. The speculation isolated the Uchiha clan further, and those tales were only exacerbated by a few members of the aforementioned clans. Kuma expands. As predicted, the Uchiha grew dissatisfied with the state of affairs and began to plan a coup to take their place back as important members of the village. They understood that Tsunade-sama would listen to reason eventually, but the leader of the Uchiha clan was being manipulated by another root plant with the Mangekyo Sharingan, Uchiha Shisui, to continue with the plan. Shisui apparently served as Itachi's older brother figure and mentor while the Uchiha clan were in tumultuous times, untrusting of each other. Sarutobi and Shimura exploited their desires to break free from clan expectations and offered them purpose, but they couldn't train Itachi to outgrow his natural brotherly instincts. Nico goes on. Taka, who'd been silent, speaks up at last. Danzo made a grab for Shisui's Sharingan so he could further his power even more. Itachi found out, which is when he realized he couldn't trust Konoha's hierarchy or anyone at all. He was completely alone, separating himself from his clan and his village for a greater good that he was too young to understand had been fake from the start. He was slated to join the Akatsuki as Roots planned to gather intel, but with nothing received from him, it's clear that Itachi's purpose now lies with the Akatsuki. You will still have him, in the Great Dream. Obito whispers. No more manipulations. No more lies. He will be safe from Konoha, the Uchiha, even safe from you. Itachi stays silent, not one muscle budging on his impassive face. Everything in this reality is a lie. That's how you ended up here. No matter how hard you or anyone else tries, this world is built on lies. Look at the horrid things you've done to seek a certainty. And where has that brought you? Closer to peace? Do you think you can die happy like this, murderer? He'd attacked Obito. Just to erase one more threat to Sasuke. He'd been foolish. Even as he lay on the ground puking blood, he maintained his stony face. Obito grabs the back of Itachi's head and slams it into the dirt. This feeling of pain? It is as real as the lies you tell yourself. This air, this dirt, the feeling of your clothes on your skin. All lies. There is only one true reality. One of happiness, closure, and true peace. You will die trying to fight for this lie that you live. The wicked pattern of Obito's Mangekyo whirls ominously with the crimson glow. Tell me what you want, Itachi. Do you even know? Dear, lost child. You can't even figure it out yourself. Join me, make your life have truth and meaning. You can end this all, my boy. All you need do is rid yourself of the shackles you cling to, these ideals that have made you throw your young life away for a lie. Itachi's goals aren't certain anymore, but he poses a threat to all around him. Whether his purpose lies completely with the Akatsuki or for the sake of protecting me, he has proven that he is willing to destroy the lives of innocents for his goals. Sasuke is your shackle to this reality. He is your one driving force. Black flames sail harmlessly through Obito's body. This Sasuke is matter built on lies. He is not the vision you idealize so greatly. Consolidate yourself with this hell, because when I am through with it, there will only be truth in your world. No more shackles. Everything will be exactly as it should be. Won't you give peace a chance for once? Or do you still cling to the useless dogma of Konoha? You are exactly like them. Itachi spits out blood viciously. Manipulating me, you are exactly everything you're lecturing me against. Huh? Is that so? Obito kneels down, scarred visage grinning. Then why don't you tell me, is the chance of happiness so revolting to you that you're unwilling to hear anything from anyone but yourself? You've been stuck inside your own head for years, boy. You are so utterly alone that you can't even comprehend what reality is in the first place. Fine. Have it your way. Be lost to the sands of time without purpose and without your sense, what little of it they let you keep. Taka takes off his mask. Two long streaks of blood from the eyes slide insistently along the pale material. Itachi was just a boy, used and abused by everyone at every corner. His life had been planned and set up for failure. But that doesn't change the fact that he is a danger to Konoha, everything I consider precious, and myself. He is my shackle, and I have to be rid of him so I can be free. So everything I love can be free from his terror. Sasuke's Sharingan changes shape. I will have Sasuke? Itachi asks, broken on the ground. You will have everything you want and didn't know you wanted. Your soul knows you better than your broken mind does. Obito turns back to him, after having walked away. You promise me this? Itachi's face is pelted by rain, and the blood on his chin slowly washes away. I wouldn't take my world after I went through the trouble of lying to everything to keep my identity a secret. Obito states wryly. But what else do you have to live for? Itachi's Sharingan changes. Please, Naruto. You are my brother as much as he is, you have to know I know. Naruto interrupts solemnly. But I won't let you do this alone. I will be with him. Nico stands up. As will I. Bear does the same. Come now, he has me too. The Nibi speaks with Sasuke's tongue. This is my resolve, my ambition. I will protect Konoha. This is my vow. Itachi utters superiorly. I will break the shackles of this world. About time that you found your calling. Obito smirks. I'll handle things on the home front. Naruto remarks. Get some rest, you three. Tomorrow, you hunt the legendary Uchiha Itachi. A spray of blood in Tsunade's face alerts her to the attempted assassination in the summit meeting. Although it seems she hadn't been the intended target. Obito rips the Sharingan from Kakashi's skull, and the silver-haired man reels in pain. Long time no see, Kakashi. I'd hate to cut this short, but I have a date with destiny. Obito vanishes in a world before they could even react. Oh, Obito? Kakashi looks more destroyed by the confirmation that he's alive than he does having his eye plucked from his head. Kakashi collapses, holding his eye socket and trying to focus through the pain. A scarred, grinning face looks down at him with triumph. Long time no see, Kakashi. The man greets jovially. I'd hate to cut this short, but I have a date with destiny. Space itself seems to warp and twist around his eye, but Kakashi manages to see the pattern. The same as the strange Sharingan form he saw in the mirror. Oh, Obito? Kakashi reaches out, almost desperately. The same hair, the same face. That same stupid grin. Tsunade's delicate hand wraps around the now empty socket. Cover us, Guy. Understood. Obito vanishes without a trace, narrowly avoiding swarming gold dust and globs of lava. All of you keep back. Guy orders everyone in the conference room. Typical Konoharans. Aniki gloats smugly. One of your best crippled and your Hokage pregnant. You didn't come prepared for this problem that came from your village. Guy's chakra explodes from his body. His skin turns red and his irides vanish. Aniki quickly shuts his mouth, feeling the magnitude of Guy's power. I am more than enough to protect both my Hokage and my best friend. Guy states boldly. And if someone like that man can swoop into a meeting full of Kage and take but one thing, I expect you all to take the power of the Akatsuki more seriously. This is indeed troubling. Mifune comments idly. Tsunade Dono's proposition of a ceasefire between the nations is given credit. If that's what he is capable of on his own, imagine that magnified with the power of all of the Baijuo. Mei wipes lava from her lip, looking disconcerted. It took only 2 members to invade Sunagakure and capture the Ichibi. One to disable me and the other to steal the Jinchuriki. Raza reveals unpleasantly. Uchiha Naruto made that one flee when he interfered in the recovery mission, but it was still too late. Now it appears he has another valuable tool in the form of the copy Nin Sharingan. Kakashi stays silent through the deliberation. Naruto was right. He hadn't stood a ghost of a chance. He isn't stupid. Kakashi knows that Obito may very well be beyond redemption, but still. Kakashi had hesitated to strike back, just to see if Obito could be spoken to, for just one piece of closure that might settle his heart. But he let his heart get in the way of his head and paid the price. Yes, well. I can't ignore merit where it's due. Aniki comments begrudgingly. Perhaps the Akatsuki isn't just some motley crew of mercenaries. You hired them without knowing what they're capable of? Ace slams his fist on the table. Don't you lecture me on wisdom, idiot boy. You're the one who lost the Nibi to Konoha when you attacked them? And why did you do that? Perhaps wanted to slingshot your pathetic village into the spotlight again. Look how that turned out. Calm yourselves, Kage. It is evident that the threat of the Akatsuki is truly significant. As the representative of the smaller nations and Tetsu no Kuni, I propose moving forward with the ceasefire and sharing what intelligence we can to ensure the safety of our peoples. This doesn't appear to be outright war, but a combined effort would do well to mitigate damages to our nations. My find suggests calmly. The Kage reluctantly take their seats, save for Tsunade who is tending to Kakashi's injury, and Guy who insists on staying guarded for them. Tsunade Dono, please explain what you know of the Akatsuki's plans when you have tended to Kakashi Dono's injury. Mifune continues respectfully. Kakashi, still kneeling, looks up at Tsunade painfully with his working eye. Will they listen to the truth? He asks with a tight throat. It doesn't matter if they believe it, because what the Akatsuki's doing still affects everyone. Tsunade keeps Kakashi's head cradled in her arms, green chakra working overtime to heal as best as she can. The blood flow is slowing down but her hands in Kakashi's mask are drenched. As absurd as your claims may sound, I assure you on behalf of the smaller nations that I will take them seriously. Mifune assures wisely. Tsunade sighs. What a mess. Uchiha Madara created a theoretical plan to capture the entire world in a genjutsu called Mugen Tsukuyomi. The plan is based on the legend of a Juubi, from which all Baijuo were divided from. The legend says that a wielder of the Rinnegan can summon the husk of the Juubi from its prison and seal the Baijuo inside of it. Capturing all of them leads to the rebirth of this demonic god, at which point the Rinnegan wielder can seal it inside of themselves for unfathomable power. Mugen Tsukuyomi is supposedly a genjutsu that will reflect off of the moon and capture all living things in it, trapping them in an eternal dream where everyone has a catered world of happiness. And he died before he could bring this plan to fruition? Mifune asks stoically, not passing judgment on the claims. Madara did figure out how to awaken the Rinnegan, but ran out of time. He gave his eyes to an Uzumaki child, and groomed another young Uchiha to guide the child to completing the plan. That Uchiha was Obito. Madara lived a short while after entrusting Obito with the plan, just long enough to teach Uchiha Naruto how to use his powers. Obito was responsible for the Kyuubi attack on Konoha. He was an accomplice in the Uchiha massacre, and also mastered a prototype version of Mugen Tsukuyomi to control the Yondaime Mizukage and lead Karategure to civil war. And you haven't killed Madara's spawn knowing this? Anako snarls. I trust Naruto with my life and the lives of every citizen of Konoha. Naruto is my candidate to replace me as Hokage. Tsunade reveals without a shred of hesitation. I would like to attest to Uchiha Naruto's character. Mei intrudes mildly. He was the one who stopped Yagura's rampage through Karategure. If not for him, then we may very well still be in civil war or destroyed entirely. Instead of capturing the Sanbi, he killed it in order to buy time against the Akatsuki. These do not seem to be the actions of someone working towards Madara's goal. Naruto could very well have prevented the Ichibi from being sealed, had it not been for Obito's interference. Raza adds. Regardless of the historical accuracy, the collection of all the Baiju still poses geopolitical catastrophic consequences. With that much power under one banner, nothing will be able to stand in the way of the Akatsuki from this goal or any other viable goal. For the sanctity of freedom and choice, I propose the nations undergo the ceasefire and share intel on this organization. And what do we hope to gain from this? A clenches his fists over the wooden table. How about your nation not turning into a battleground for the strongest shinobi of the era? Tsunade sneers at him. Reputation can be built back. The lives of every last man, woman and child can't. You think your village is in dire straits now? What if Obito turns up looking for the Hachibi with Naruto hot on his tail? A reluctantly backs down. Due to the conflicting nature of field missions, a ceasefire will not be proposed between standard shinobi operations. Actions taken directly against each other and the smaller nations, however, is prohibited. Any intel amassed on members and movements of the Akatsuki will be shared, however. All those in favor? Tsunade, Mei and Raza raise their hands instantly, understanding the gravity of the issue. A follows with no small amount of displeasure, but possibly his wisest public decision in years. And with an equal sneer, Anaki lastly, does the same. Naruto barges into each and every office in the Hokage Tower and freezes everyone in the room with Hukan. The veritable legion of Anbu follow behind closely and arrest every last person. Inoiki, Ibiki. Go through their heads and find out which ones are innocent of this discriminatory behavior. We punish only those who are guilty. Understood? They nod determinedly. Have the Senju been secured? Kuza asks, acting as the group's muscle. Karen is protecting them, so no worries there. Naruto assures. I'll get the nastier ones myself. Make sure everyone is ready for processing when I get back. There is some chaos in the streets of Konoha as people are dragged out of their homes. Mission assistants, current and old, sometimes kicking and screaming and demanding for explanations. It's nothing personal, Asuma. Shikaku explains dully, having caught Asuma and a large number of Sarutobi in his shadow jutsu. What the hell is going on? Asuma demands. You know how it is. Shikaku shrugs. There's something big going on and we had to move hard and fast. You've got nothing to worry about if you've done nothing wrong. In the street, another group moves slowly towards Standi. Sorry about this, kids. Yamato says apologetically to a number of Hyuga. We can't take any chances. Of course, Yamato-san. Neji smiles, slightly unnerved but still confident. I have nothing to hide. Where are we being taken? Hinata asks meekly. Just to someone who can give you a quick peek into your mind. You'll be let go as soon as it's done. Yamato promises. Don't worry, Hinata-chan. Hisashi comforts quickly. Trust in yourself, you've done nothing wrong so we'll be let go. We'll be able to stay with each other, won't we, Yamato-san? You have my word. Yamato assures again. Hinata's stressful tension slowly deflates. Homura and Koharu are sharing tea when the door to their little ceremony is blasted away by invisible force. Naruto? What are you doing? Homura sputters indignantly. Naruto says nothing, only picking them up with his gravitational power and throwing them out onto the street. Spectators in the street look on in shock. When Tsunade hears about this, Naruto whips out a folder. They freeze in place, and not because of his jutsu. Look familiar? The veins on his forehead and hands bulge out as his hatred rakes across the village. This is your death sentence. You can't get away with this, Uchiha mongrel. Homura snarls, passive political calmness vanishing. Oh. Naruto mockingly gives a fake laugh as his anger spikes even more. What can I get away with that you haven't? You're about to find out how it feels to be on the receiving end of someone manipulating the system to protect their interests. Konoha, the Uchiha and the Senju are going to be safe from you vile animals. And what will you do? Koharu spits venomously. Kill all of us? Justify our choices? Oh no, not all of you. Just the ones who were in on this. Unlike you, I'm not so much of a monster to kill Konoha's innocent. Did you ever think about the pain those children went through, just so you might sleep a little better at night? So that your weakling spawn might rise to the top of a pile of innocent bodies? Then you're a fool. If you can't find the will to kill all of us, then more will rise to fight the inhuman creatures you are. Then you will stand as an example to those who turn their blades against Konoha and the Uchiha. 1 week has passed since Naruto had thrown Konoha into chaos. Many shinobi were working overtime to cover what clan members had been doing for missions, and Naruto had been using clones to do all of the office duties that were previously filled by said clan members. Questions are being thrown around. Has Naruto gone mad with power? The more sensible ones declared in defense of him that he could want for nothing when he takes whatever he wants anyway, given how powerful he is. Nobody could realistically stop him if he went rampant, so he had to have a reason for the abrupt abduction of so many people. Friends and families were notified that the people in quarantine are being treated fairly and well. Tsunade arrives at the gates with a slumped Kakashi and a concerned guy. A squad of Anbu appear before her. What's wrong? Naruto hasn't done anything crazy, has he? Naruto-sama requests your presence immediately. This is something that cannot wait. Tsunade is surprised by the tone of the Anbu. He has waited until you arrive to pass judgment on the traitors. Traitors? Tsunade is mystified. What the hell has happened since I've been gone? Kakashi, guy. I'm sorry, but come with me. Understood. They chorus with unease. The streets are eerily empty. They walk as briskly as they could to the tower, with Tsunade not feeling comfortable running just yet with her steadily increasing stomach size. The quiet is more than a little unsettling, the usual bustle replaced by the natural sounds of tree leaves being blown around by the wind. Once they arrive at the tower, Karen is waiting at the front with the 3 other remaining Senju. Before Tsunade can open her mouth, Karen is already speaking frantically. You know that thing Naruto looked into about the Uchiha and Senju? Karen bites her lips momentarily. Her blood runs cold. It wasn't just a conspiracy, it was true. All of it. They groomed Itachi from the start to destroy the Uchiha clan and they whittled away the Senju until it was just you guys left. Tsunade feels ill and woozy. Nawaki. All along? My parents Naori Basama? Behind Karen, Takehito rubs instantly at his eyes. Naruto hasn't acted? Tsunade chokes out. No, he was waiting for you. Then he has more patience than I do. Tsunade storms up to the tower. She nearly breaks the hinges off the office door when she barges in. Naruto is waiting, overlooking the village. The sky's a muted orange as the sun prepares to set. The rest of the group follows nervously. I'll warn you now, it's worse than you thought. Naruto waves loosely to a massive stack of files, folders and scrolls. We've only just finished the final interrogations. I've made a compressed report for you to go through. Tsunade sits down in the chair that had been Naruto's place for weeks now. The compressed report is still far longer than she's comfortable with, but she does read through it with growing anxiety. The temporary Hokage turns around and immediately sees something not visible to most. Kakashi, your Sharingan? Kakashi places a hand over the empty socket protected by his headband. You were right about me. I was too weak, I couldn't do anything. Obito took it back. You're not weak, Obito is just a different kind of beast. Come here. The mystified Kakashi walks towards him only to get wrapped in a hug. I'm sorry. Naruto apologizes deeply. I wanted to do what I thought was right. I never wanted you to get caught up in our mess. Kakashi is unused to this overt emotion from his surrogate little brother and doesn't really know what to think, but hugs back anyway. Don't be, Naruto. I should have listened and understood you were trying your best. I made an ass of myself instead. Let's just put this behind us and do what we do best. Let's. Naruto agrees, pulling back but placing his hand over Kakashi's empty eye socket. What are you doing? Kakashi thinks Naruto is just fretting. Tsunade-sama already did her best. Her best isn't Uchiha Naruto's best. Tsunade would probably take offense to that if she weren't engrossed in the report. His hand begins to glow with bright white chakra. You wanna keep your scar? He asks candidly. I think I'd forget what I'd look like if I didn't have it. Kakashi replies in confusion. This is gonna hurt. Naruto warns unapologetically. Inaka Yokusei say life force rebirth. Kakashi fades from consciousness before even realizing what's happening. Naruto. What did you do? Guy catches Kakashi before he falls to the floor. Don't worry, Naruto did the same thing to get rid of my scars and fix my eyes. Karen comforts. You gave him his normal eye back? Yes, although it might take him some getting used to. He's not going to get the Sharingan back. I'm destroying Obito's eyes as soon as I kill him. Guy peeks under the headband and sure enough, there's a very real eye hiding under the scarred lid. Incredible. Guy's amazed. You can regenerate a body? At the cost of a lot of chakra. He's lucky it's only an eye and not an arm. I don't think I have the skill for that just yet. And believe me when I say that using that jutsu isn't easy. Naruto reveals, grinning and flickering back into the Sharingan for just a moment before returning back. He'll be fine in a few days. I was. Karen comments. Kakashi isn't an Uzumaki, my love. But he'll be back on his feet in no time. Guy shakes his head. Naruto really makes all the insane things he can do sound easy, despite claims to the contrary. Can you take him home? Shizuna's gonna be pissed at me for knocking him out like this, so I don't wanna be anywhere near her. Ah yes, Shizune is a force in motion when she is upset. Ignore the rumors going around about this, by the way. Tsunade and I will probably make an announcement about everything that's going on. As you say. Guy hefts Kakashi up and piggybacks him ridiculously before speeding out the door, screaming something about doing hundreds of push-ups if he doesn't get Kakashi back without harm. Tsunade looks paler and paler as she slogs through the report. He even had plans for you? The report stated that Sarutobi was only appearing at the orphanage to check up and see how manageable I would enough. It was only because of my Uzumaki genes that they were concerned about me. Basically a senju by principle. Said it'd be difficult to act with Kakashi over my shoulder a lot of the time he was in the village, and that my skills were advancing too quickly. They hoped that I'd end up getting put with a shitty sensei until you threw a spanner in the works by putting me with Kakashi. What, Asuma? Tsunade's lips tilt in disgust. No, actually, Asuma is completely innocent in all of this. Sundaime kept him in the dark, the only thing he's guilty of is being a terrible teacher. They hoped I'd get inducted into Root so they could quietly cull me with some aburame plant that has flesh-eating insects that can go through a body like a hot knife through butter. Weak leadership? Tsunade assesses the report in regards to herself. He put you in charge because he thought you'd be no good at it. You were reluctant to take the position in the first place, and the goal was to help people lose faith in Senju leadership. Again, it became difficult when you handled the attempted Hyuga kidnapping. We are putting a stop to this. Release everyone who's innocent. We need to have a discussion about what to do. Naruto leans against the window. Karen, please take these three into the conference room. This isn't something young ears should hear. Karen takes Fujita and his parents away without missing a beat. The Uchiha goes through his own thoughts on the mess. I'd initially thought exile might be a good idea, but scrapped it. The vast majority of them, while loyal to Konoha, still know too much about Konoha's inner processes and contingencies. If those secrets fell into enemy hands, we'd be in for a bad time. Loyal to Konoha? If they were loyal, none of this shit would be happening. Tsunade screams viciously. Despite their plans, they did serve Konoha effectively when we disregard what they've done to the Uchiha and Senju. Mild nepotism isn't exactly uncommon. It's what else they've done to secure power in our control system that's the real crime. Very deliberate discrimination against more than just us, and then adding on the Uchiha and Senju being bureaucratically genocided. You can see in my report that they were forming contingencies, even against the Hyuga, just in case they ended up with their own Madara or Hashirama. And what's stopping us from just outright executing them? Tsunade doesn't see any possible way they could let this go with a slap on the wrist at most. Public perception. Naruto identifies the potential problem. But it swings both ways. On one hand, summary execution of traitors would send a ripple across the village that we're not to be fucked with, especially not from the inside. But on the other hand, we don't really want people thinking that this is mutual nepotism to protect each other exclusively and that genocide is always an option for us to keep them in check and constantly in fear. It could lead to a mass exodus from Konoha if the clans start thinking that they're at risk for being a little ambitious and wanting to move up the chain from their own merit. And what do you suggest? A consultation with the clans to gauge what their thoughts are first, and then telling the press everything. It'll spread across the village like wildfire. We'll have people banging on the doors to give us their thoughts on what they think we should do. Even if we choose to appear merciful, the court of public opinion may not be so kind to them. What do you want, Naruto? Not as Hokage, but for the Uchiha clan? I want to slaughter every last one of those pigs myself. Naruto admits darkly. I want them to run in fear like the Uchiha did from Itachi. I want to scorch them until they are nothing but dust and ashes. But I can't put what I want in front of what the village needs, and Konoha needs to be united for a greater threat than what's happening in its walls. We may lose manpower if we get what I want. I will admit to you, Naruto. If I didn't have you here right now, I would have done exactly what you wanted to do. You've stayed my hand for now, but if it comes to what you want, you'll have my express permission to cut loose. Naruto nods unblinkingly. We're organizing this meeting, right now. Emergency powers. 3 days later. The underground containment prison used in interrogations had to be extended to accommodate the influx of captives, and Neji is quite tired of having been down here for over a week. Everyone is getting testy, and some were moved to different cell blocks after their interrogations were complete. The entirety of the former branch of the Hyuga were in one, along with some Sarutobi. Their saving grace comes by as a fight is nearly ready to break out. You're all free to go. Yamato calls out to everyone in the block. Finally, Asuma spits, with his nephew Konohamaru sitting meekly beside him. What the hell are we even here for, anyway? Neji feels that Asuma might have something against this Yamato, but passes it off as being moody from the difficult week. He's not exactly pleased himself. It was hardly a nice holiday. Tsunade-sama and Naruto-sama will be making an announcement shortly. I'll keep it brief, you're gonna want to listen to the broadcast yourself. We found a massive amount of conspiring traitors linked to your clans in Konoha's hierarchy. We're keeping them down here until Tsunade-sama decides what to do with them. People like you who've been proven innocent are free to go. Traitors in the Sarutobi? That's ridiculous. We've served this village loyally for nearly a century. Yamato looks him dead in the eyes, and Neji can feel the warning there. Then hope it stays that way, because you're going to have to save a lot of face after what your father did. I have no idea what you're talking about. Come on, Konohamaru. Let's go home. Neji has a sense of dark foreboding. As they're escorted out, the bright lights of the entrance are nearly overwhelming. But he nods sighs with relief, so he supposes he can put up with being a little disoriented. Fresh air, at last. His father stretches out happily. Can we go back to the compound? Hinata asks Neji quietly. Of course, but I want to look around and find out why we were locked up in the first place. Asuma is storming out after them with Konohamaru in tow. Neji observes closely, feeling things aren't quite right. There are too many people around, especially if they haven't been told the captives were getting released today. And he is proven right when as soon as Asuma and Konohamaru step outside, they're pelted with rocks from every angle possible. Get out of here, Sarutobi scum. Jeers and screams howl loudly at any Sarutobi coming out of the facility. The Hyuga delta away quickly, seeing that they're not the targets. What in the world? Neji runs up to whack some of the rocks away to protect Konohamaru. Asuma. Kurenai-sensei lands in front of him. You need to get out of here, quickly. I'll explain everything. I'm gonna beat them to a pulp. Asuma threatens madly. No. Not now, I mean it. You need to do everything you can to prove that you're not like your father. Take Konohamaru and go home. Neji speeds through the streets, generally being ignored with a few weary looks. His first finding is a series of newspapers. Shocking discovery. Sarutobi, Shimura and Hyuga friends or foes? Uchiha and Senju slaughtered on Sandaime's orders? Traitors sentenced to execution. Oh my god. Neji breathes. Uchiha Naruto's bloodthirst is felt by all around him. He stands atop the gate to Konoha with an hourglass. The traitors are assembled beneath him at the gate, forced out by Anbu and Jounin with nothing but the clothes on their backs. You have 1 hour to flee as fast as you can. Naruto calls out superiorly. One former Jounin spits out a rock jutsu at him. It is squashed to the ground with invisible force, along with said Jounin. His eyes burst open in a bloody shower and his body shreds under the weight of increased gravity. Run. Naruto orders malevolently. They run. And after 1 hour, they don't last long. Oto no Kuni, hidden base. Obito stumbles out of the vat with shaky legs. His Sharingan glint with vicious success. His newly regenerated flesh is red and raw for now, and the scars on his face have vanished. You're alive. Kabuto comments dully. Oh good. Obito grins wildly, eyes whirling. Border of Hai no Kuni and Yu no Kuni. Sasuke looks up at the fortress that is the Uchiha hideout. Can't believe that this has been here this whole time. Yugao looks enraptured by the castle. It is certainly well hidden. Shino adds. Sasuke only has his mind on one thing right now. Kept you waiting, have I, Itachi? The Uchiha hideout is a grand spectacle against a midday sky. bright light shining down on an ostentatious fortress surrounded by encroaching nature. The tiered skirts on the perimeter of the massive structure hold bountiful game, waters full of fish and untended flora that spreads and weaves in the places rarely occupied by humans. It was once a home for their kind. The Uchiha needed just one place to retreat when all was lost. When alliances fell and when numbers dwindled, they would return here to rejuvenate and regain strength. It's sacred to the Uchiha, more than even their little shrine in Konoha. The one place that only they could set foot on. Naruto will not be pleased. Sasuke comments softly to himself, knowing that it would likely see irreparable damages in the coming battle. Yugao isn't as relaxed. I don't like this, Sasuke. It feels like a setup. Itachi was never one for dramatics like waiting for you in some sanctified battleground. What if he has the battlefield advantage? Agreed, Shino adds. A tactical retreat is our best option. We have a greater advantage in a field of our choosing. We've known it was a trap since we felt the bee nearby. Yugao and Shino furrow their brows. We being Sasuke and the Nibi. The bee? It's a trap. Sasuke concludes carelessly. But they have the advantage no matter what we do now. They've already got the bee, so the fact that they haven't sealed it already means it's going to be used as a tool by Itachi to capture Mount Itabi and make the sealing process easier. They're going for me because they can't get the Sand Bee, and if they have the bee and haven't sealed it yet, then they probably have the Gobi too and they can't seal it yet either. They were counting on me coming here. All the more reason to leave. Why? So they can't capture the Nibi. Shino argues, though his voice is dull. No. Obito got impatient. That's where he messed up. He hasn't taken into account that it doesn't matter what he puts in my way, it's not going to stop me. In fact, I see this as an opportunity to take the bee back. He's trying to get too much done at once and hasn't assessed the threat level of his opposition. Either that, or he's counting on someone panicking that those two Baijiu were captured and he's making a move separately to capture another one while everyone runs around looking for missing Jinchuriki. This area is too isolated for conventional backup. The summit was not a proactive enough attempt at hindering Akatsuki's movements. Shino seems to gain some insight. No use crying over spilt milk. We have an opportunity here, I'm not going to waste it. I don't think we have the time to rely on luck to find its way to us and send help. I can do this no. Muratabi and I, we're ready. We're about to show them a whole new level. They think they've backed us into a corner. They don't know how unprepared they are. We will be of no use, Sasuke. Yugao almost pleads, begging him to see that he can't do it alone. I'm a shinobi of Konoha. Sasuke insists, smiling as he stands from his kneeling position. I would give my life to protect it. Even against my own brother. So you two go get help, those are my orders. I'm going to need more shovels to bury them. Tsunade doesn't like the quiet that has taken over the village since Naruto's operation to eradicate the traitors. It's not too out of the ordinary, some days are slow and some are busy, but there's a foreboding silence. People are on edge, seemingly understanding the seriousness of what's happened and what's about to happen. Konoha cannot have been fighting when there are madmen running around capturing primordial forces of chakra. I've kicked the Hyuga out of my compound. Naruto comments, not sitting on her chair for once and instead throwing pieces of balled-up paper at Fujita while he's trying to meditate. Upside down. On the ceiling. Got sick of the uppity one demanding for better accommodation. But there's a lot of free space up in the actual Hyuga compound now. You mean the heiress? Tsunade scribbles something on a scroll and puts it away. I'll be happy if I never have to manage something like that again. Naruto states, looking a bit down. It's not easy for anyone involved. And I've never had to deal with something this bad before either. The worst is behind us now, put it out of your mind and let's focus on the more pressing matters at hand. But how do you feel about all this? Sarutobi was your teacher. My old man did some pretty horrible things, and it didn't exactly make me feel great. I am not my teacher. Tsunade insists firmly. I console myself with that fact alone. He was a guide for my skills but not my soul. I am my own person, and I refuse to become him in my leadership. You're not Madara, just like I'm not Sarutobi. Don't think so hard about it. Naruto gives a hum, not agreeing but seemingly thoughtful. The intercom buzzes loudly, startling them out of their little chat. Hokage-sama, we have an Iwagakure shinobi requesting an emergency audience regarding the Akatsuki. Send them in, now. Tsunade orders immediately. Fujita. Go home, we'll continue training another time. Naruto suggests to his apprentice. Okay. Fujita acquiesces nervously. The Iwakunoichi barges in, looking beaten and ragged. Her pink eyes stand out to them, and they don't fail to notice she's alone. Identify yourself, Kunoichi. Naruto orders her, standing up with his arms behind his back. She takes in several quick breaths. Kurotsuchi of Iwagakour, granddaughter of the Sandaime Tsuchikage. I have news, the B and Gobi Jinchuriki have been taken. Exact location of both of them when they were taken and where they were last seen, and who took them if you can identify them. The B Jinchuriki, Roshi, was in a hut near the border of Ishii and Tsuchi. Gramps had a platoon guarding him, which included me. Itachi killed everyone else. We don't know who was with him, but there were 2. And the Gobi? Han was by 6 guys with orange hair and the same eyes as you, and we have no idea where they went. Naruto leans in incredulously. Nagato captured the Gobi himself? Naruto? Why is that important? Tsunade feels his slight panic. Nagato is the one with the Rinnegan, only he can initiate the sealing ritual. The fact that they're letting Itachi keep the B means that they're not planning to seal it, and they're leaving other capable Akatsuki members out of it for other duties means they're being delegated to another capture. Guess who's chasing Itachi around right now? Sasuke's walking into a trap. Tsunade realizes in horror. They're using Itachi as bait to capture the Nibi. Naruto gets ready to leap out the window. I'm gonna gear up. Keep the village on high alert, and protect Karen. As he vanishes in a blur of movement, Tsunade turns to the girl. How'd you get out alive? It's not like Itachi to be so sloppy. I don't think he knew I was still alive, but the big blue guy who was with him definitely knew. He just kinda spared me. Kisame spared you. Tsunade murmurs thoughtfully. Perhaps the Akatsuki isn't as united as we thought. Disgruntled dark eyes look up at him. The small face winces into a pout when he pokes the boy on his forehead. Sorry, Sasuke. Maybe next time. He is startled from his memories by the crashing noise of furniture being forcibly tipped over. Hidan punts a small wooden coffee table out of sheer, aggressive boredom. Fucking hell. What the fuck are we doing in this dump? Shut up. Kakuzu growls back. Now, children. Kabuto smiles amiably at them over the collar of his Akatsuki coat. His hands are alight with glowing green chakra, restoring Itachi's own after he'd captured the B. Your guests in Itachi-san's holiday property. Show some respect. Go fuck yourself, you creepy snake fucking cunt. Hidan. Itachi interrupts stoically. Make yourself useful. Sasuke-kun approaches. I think it wise to prepare. Kabuto recommends, still smiling. As if one little teenage runt can take all of us at once. He'd be pushing it just to beat the best mass-murdering Oni-chan up there. It may be overkill, Itachi concedes that point. He, Kisame, Hidan, Kakuzu, and Kabuto. 5 S-rank shinobi to take one Jinchuriki, but they need to prepared. The capturing of Jinchuriki is becoming increasingly difficult with Naruto running around hindering their efforts. His appearance in Kiri had been testament to that. He's willing to just outright kill a Baijuo to buy some time. There'd be no telling if Naruto would see through the deception, though Itachi is quite certain he'd left no one alive. Kisame has been unusually quiet since Obito outed himself to the world, but he's been doing his job just fine. Normally Kisame would be the one talking away, his unusual appearance catching someone's eye just long enough for him to smooth talk some intel out of them. For someone so brutish and bestial in appearance and in battle, he has a strange charisma about his person. Little of that is showing now. He's letting Itachi do the talking. It's a red flag. The dark chamber they reside in is the assembly, and perched in the stone throne in front of a decorative shrine depicting the Kyuubi, Itachi observes his allies with little regard for them as people, but for what they offer him now to get closer to the eternal dream. He can almost feel the warmth, imagining in his own thoughts how blissful life will be with everything he ever wanted. His eager and springy Itoto bugging him to play, his proud brother figure keeping a watchful eye over him. His parents are nowhere to be seen, unable to poison his world with Uchiha values. He will be Hokage, and live a long and fulfilling life, free of the dirtiness and hatred of reality. All he needs to do is be rid of his bond with the current Sasuke. And now, he hears the slapping of sandals against the cold stone floor. You come alone. Itachi states his observation monotonously. Unwise. As Sasuke steps into the window-lit hall, Itachi feels as though his imagination may have been playing tricks on him. Faint traces of heterochromic coloring fade from his brother's eyes. Sasuke is much bigger than he remembers. Calm, not as hot-headed or petulant. And his eyes are pitying, as if he sees something worthy of pity in Itachi. You've been through a lot, Nisan. Sasuke's Sharingan whirls into life. But I can't let you have your way with the innocent anymore. Is that all? Itachi is bored of this justice approach. You don't seem to understand. You've walked into enemy territory with no backup. You're facing down someone who has outclassed you in every way from beginning, and all you can do is spout platitudes. Ideals will not win you this fight, nothing will. Are you surrendering yourself this easily? Then you are weaker than I imagined. I had hoped that you would have greater sense, or perhaps at least honorable death to see the world's new future come to light with triumph. I expected more. Sasuke does not take the bait. It is unsettling to him that Sasuke has risen above such things, despite Itachi's meddling. He is as cool as can be, still looking at him with those damn pitying eyes. I'm sorry, Itachi. Maybe next time. Itachi's eye twitches, ever so slightly. Tsukuyomi. He renders the illusion as a perfect copy of the Hall, other Akatsuki included, so Sasuke wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Only he didn't expect a massive, two-tailed flaming cat to appear behind Sasuke in the supposedly perfect genjutsu. Such a shame. The Nibi tuts. Itachi grunts in pain and covers his eye as the illusion shatters forcefully. Hidan and Kakuzu swoop in instantly, one with an insane cackle and the other stoic. A decorative scythe and earth-coated fist slam into Sasuke. Or it should have. A purple, etheric ribcage appears around his brother, just enough to cover him from head to toe. Sasuke doesn't say a word. Lightning chakra leaps out from the skeletal structure, zapping and sparking his assailants into retreat. The fuck is this? Hidan curses angrily. Tears of blood dry quickly, enough for Sasuke to pick the red shells off of his face. Sasuke's hand touches his stomach and twists. The potent energies of the Nibi leak out but do not consume him. The expansive chakra melds with Sasuke's own, causing a bright eruption of purple chakra. It forms a cloak of similarly colored light on Sasuke, make his skin glow just the same. His clear eye changed to match the Nibi's, though his Sharingan remains unchanged. Straight black seal patterns crawl down Sasuke's newly formed cloak of purple chakra, Magatama appearing in the collar and back. He puts his hands into a horse seal. Kaden, Kashimekiyaku. A colossal wave of blue flame spreads violently through the hall, decimating what little furniture remained. Itachi barely had time to summon his own Susanoo, the mirror shield deflecting the flames but not nullifying them. It does little to mitigate their danger as they immediately scorch heat onto a crisp and Kakuzu attempts to shield himself with water, turning his skin earthen and attempting to retaliate with the natures of his other hearts. 5 chakra natures losing to Sasuke's sudden and immeasurable power. The redirection of flame causes it to crash against the assembly walls, weakening them and causing them to crumble. The roof falls down on top of them. Sasuke vanishes before their eyes, reappearing with a Chidori in hand behind Kabuto and spearing him through the heart before any of them even realize he's there. Itachi notices that Kakuzu howls in pain and anger too, only it's not Sasuke. It's Kisame. Going after the medic is an established tactic. I'm impressed with that little Sasuke. Kisame grins viciously. Kisame. You damn traitor, Samada peels off Kakuzu's cat and heart. I really hate liars, and I'm sad to say that real life has more truth in it than Obito's dream. Kisame explains jovially, whirling Samada around and tossing Kakuzu into the rubble that was once the stone ceiling. Kabuto sputters as he feels a massive hole form where his heart should be. The sparking lightning chakra burns his insides away. His head twists around unnaturally to look at Sasuke, though he's careful not to peer into his eyes. Even his Senjutsu-enhanced senses hadn't been able to keep up. You motherfucker. Hidan's scorched body comes running with scythe in hand, flailing furiously. Sasuke's palm opens through Kabuto's chest. Chidori Nagashi. Lighting streaks out and stops Hidan in his tracks, making him scream and flail in pain on the spot. Kabuto uses the opportunity to use body replacement, vomiting himself out of the mouth of his old body and slithering into the rubble to reconstitute. With Hidan being completely bullied and Kakuzu occupied with an apparently traitorous Kisame, that leaves Itachi and himself to fight off this unbelievably dangerous Jinchuriki. Worse yet, he can feel Naruto rapidly approaching and filled to the brim with natural chakra. He can work with this. He just needs to make a quick getaway to prepare his contingency. Zetsu's spores wiggle out and attach to his skin. Good. While Hidan struggles to heal with his strange immortality jutsu, Kabuto will simply slink off for a minute. At least Hidan's voice box is the first to go when he gets fried by lightning. Sasuke vanishes again when Itachi's Susanoo swipes with the strangely fluid bright yellow sword. Itachi's Susanoo is quite different to Naruto's. It has some strangely versatile abilities. That sword should only be able to absorb so much. Muratabi points out. He'll hit the limit on what he's absorbing and have to dispose of it eventually. That'll be your best opportunity to catch him from behind. An assault from the front will do no good against that shield. I wonder. He appears before Hidan, digging elongated claws into his victim's back to lift him up, and throws the cultist into the path of Itachi's blade. What the fu yu Hidan seems to liquefy as he gets sealed into the gourd attached to the blade. Sasuke retracts his claws. We only have so long in this state, we are unpracticed. Go all out. He focuses all of the combined might of their chakra. Itachi glares with hatred. It's startling to see it as a real emotion, unfaked like it had been in the past. The yellow Susanoo points the gourd away, blasting Hidan and a huge amount of rubble out in a gust. He weaves hand signs to summon. Here we go. Sasuke tenses, focusing their chakra. Combined with his own, it remains purple and expands rapidly to take corporeal form. Kushios no Jutsu summoning jutsu. Itachi slaps his palm on the ground. Naruto's Susanoo soars as fast as it can. He senses numerous spikes and strong chakra, both inhuman in strength. He transforms his eyes into binoculars using Shurato. The old Uchiha hideout? He retracts his eyes when he sees a gargantuan plume of smoke in the bee appearing, enslaved to the Sharingan. But even from this distance, he can feel Sasuke's chakra levels skyrocket. What the hell has he done? And now, without enhanced vision, he can see a bright purple light in the middle of the day at the top of the terraced compound. Remaining still, he absorbs Shinjutsu chakra and enters Sage mode as the Susanoo carries him to his destination. He can feel Itachi and Sasuke. Kabuto is hiding somewhere away from the battle, but still present. Two other signatures he doesn't recognize, with Kisame fighting one of them. At least that gives him a little wiggle room to get rid of the other unknown before taking on Kabuto, the greater threat. At least this way, he can let Sasuke extract some closure from Itachi in the form of vengeance or however he wants to justify it. Floating into place above the fortress, he lets his Susanoo dissipate and suspends himself in the air, judging what the best spot would be to drop for a shock entry. No doubt Kabuto already knows he's here. But something is off about this whole thing. He can sense a blob of weak and plain chakra signatures under the hideout. He wants to dismiss them as summons, but no summon has such weak chakra. But he needs to act regardless. This wild form Sasuke has taken is impressive, but everything has its weakness. He doesn't doubt there will be some way to counter it, or if it'll even last that long against the bee. Sasuke's chakra pulls out of him and takes the form of a purple Nibi, flaring gloriously with two swishing tails. Sasuke claimed he had come far with the Nibi's chakra. Maybe he has unleashed the theoretical state of being between human and Baijuo. Futon, Shinku Tabaikamu wind release, vacuum dive. Hidan's body begins to heal, drawing power from the souls trapped in his shadow. Sacrificed in the divine ritual of Jashin, their lives fuel his crusade to spread the power of a true god. He takes sight of the massive flaming purple cat. Seriously, what the fuck is that about? The kid doesn't even seem a slight bit scared of them, and then he whips out that bullshit? Itachi is gonna fuck him up. But he can't fight something that big anyway, better to kill Kisame and add that fish fucker to his well of souls. Or he would, until his entire midsection gets ripped apart but a massive shuriken of screeching wind. It flies through him and curves around in the air towards Kakuzu. Oi, Kakuzu. Watch out. Hidan howls at him. I know. Kakuzu splits all of his hearts away, narrowly dodging the expanding Rasen shuriken. Footsteps next to him reveal just who decided to rob him of yet another life. A clink of crimson armor and a massive weird-ass gunbai on his back are dead giveaways. You're still alive? Uchiha Naruto asks disbelievingly. Ha ha ha. Hidan cackles delightedly. I'm immortal, cocksucker. You can't kill me. No, I think I've figured it out. Naruto comments again, offhanded and calm. You're trapped a bunch of souls in your shadow, I can see them with my Rinnegan. You let the soul replenish your shape when your body takes irreparable damage. Quite inventive. I don't know how you did it, but unlucky. I can control souls with these eyes. A black rod spears out of Naruto's gloved hand and straight through Hidan's heart, nailing him to the floor. Harder, daddy. Hidan cackles again, unflinching. You can't do shit. Near translucent blue orbs with dense red ones float around them suddenly, coalescing in front of Nibi Sasuke's mouth. Oi. Naruto balks. That's a bit close, Sasuke. You're dead, cocksucker. Hidan grins wickedly, already feeling his body put itself back together. Naruto narrows his eyes and plunges his hand into Hidan's shadow. Let's see how well you do now, then. Naruto grins back. Ninjendo. Hidan feels the pull on his shadow, and the following eruption of a rainbow of wisps that are the souls once trapped in there. Aw, fuck. Hidan panics. Though his body is restored, he now only has one life to toss away. The ground seems to melt slightly, pulling his full body down into it. Good, Kabuto is looking out for him. Makuten, Hokage no Jutsu Wood Human. Hidan sees only the humanoid construct of wood slide down onto another terrace before Kabuto whisks him away. Baija Udama. Sasuke and Matatabi cry in unison. Itachi makes the bee put its head down, summoning his Susanoo to manifest its shield. The Baija Udama collides with it and explodes violently, but the shield deflects its energy into a ring of force that carves a gaping chasm through the middle of the elevated hideout. Another massive plume of smoke explodes in the distance, and the most gargantuan purple snake he'd ever seen slithers towards them faster than anything that size should be able to move. Ignore it, Sasuke-kun. Naruto will take care of that, focus on Itachi. The terrifying rumble of the beast is so loud and deep that their footing shakes. Such delicious morsels. It growls unnaturally. Kabuto is barely visible on its head. Kabuto's snake could swallow a Baiju whole. How did he create such a massive creature? Even Game Abunta and Matatabi were dwarfed by it. Did Naruto even have anything that could take that thing on? Regardless, Naruto shoots out some light blue chains that pierce the bee's flesh. The Baiju howls in anger, grabbing the chains and flinging Naruto straight towards the massive conjured and enhanced snake. Seems that had been his plan, so Sasuke refocuses on Itachi. Matatabi bats away incoming Yasaka Magatama with one of her tails and dashes to one side to avoid a river of lava. Chidori sparks to life on the ends of both her tails, and they weave around the fluid blade and tails of Itachi and the bee with swift agility. She claws the edge of Itachi's shield, whipping one tail around to hit the gourd attached to the sword. The bee catches it with one of its feet, doing a cartwheel and whipping all of them into a twirl. Matatabi's other tail strikes, using the precision of Sasuke's Sharingan to guide her movement, and this time it strikes true. The gourd shatters from the Chidori, disabling the sword as a flurry of rubble and lava globs explode from it. They roll down the side of the hideout, landing on its highest terrace. Matatabi leaps back up with Ibi in tow, lava streams being spit ferociously, but she is too nimble, even for him. The Ibi swings from one of the standing sky pillars, crashing down upon Sasuke and Matatabi and pinning them and their tails down. You are a nuisance. Itachi's eyes begin to bleed. Amaterasu. Black flames appear pelt down on the side of Matatabi's head, burning the chakra composing her physical form away and getting closer to Sasuke. Sasuke's right eye shifts shape, and instead of contesting Amaterasu with more flame, he instead decides to control Itachi's. His eye bleeds as well. Enten, Kagetsuchi Blaze Release, Flame Control. Applying the principles of all chakra being connected, Sasuke dominates Itachi's own power and uses it like it were his own. The black flames change direction as if chasing something and attack the bee. I can't maintain form for any longer, I need to regather our strength. Matatabi informs Sasuke desperately. That's fine. Sasuke agrees readily, huffing from controlling Itachi's unbelievable power. But with the bee tumbling down the edge of the hideout and into the chasm left previously, they have a bit of time. The purple cloak of chakra wisps away while she recovers, and Sasuke and Itachi face each other alone. The snake is empowered by Shinjutsu chakra, Naruto notes. It's an unnatural creation of experimentation. No being, even one with chakra, can be that massive without using ninjutsu, and this snake is certainly no Akimichi. Kabuto is continuing to be a massive pain in his ass. As he soars towards the snake, he wonders just what he can do to put this enhanced clone of Manda in the ground for good. Genjutsu wouldn't work with Kabuto atop its head to break it out of it, so he needs to think of something massive enough to contend with it and protect Sasuke. He has a few ideas though, and for now he's going to start off small. Well, as small as Shinjutsu enhanced Makuten goes, anyway. Naruto feels his blood pumping. The thought that Kabuto has come this far, possibly far enough to be a worthy enemy, has him excited to go all out for once. Kabuto, for all the pains he brings Naruto, is truly a model of how far someone can come without legendary genes. Not wasting chakra creating another construct, he uses the summoning jutsu mid-flight to make his previous Mokujin appear under his feet. Pumping Shinjutsu chakra into it, he forces it to grow another 2 heads and 2 more sets of arms. It grows impressively in response to the chakra, enough to not be swallowed in one bite by the creature. Iso, Susanoo. His light blue chakra wraps and weaves around his humanoid Makuten construct, coating its body with dense armor. Spreading from the head down, instead of forming wings, it covers all 9 arms and gives each hand a massive blade from his Susanoo. Glowing brightly, the Makuten-clad Susanoo sprints towards Kabuto and the demon snake, leaping into a jump and making itself a bladed spinning top. Nidaime Manda burrows underground, receiving shallow slashes on its back. Wounds that would kill a normal summon were but scratches on it. It re-emerges and strikes with a bite, grabbing Naruto's Iso Susanoo and flailing it. A ring of fire blasts from the main head and lands straight into the roof of Manda's mouth, causing a cataclysmic booming noise and cooking the entirety of its mouth. Manda whips his sharp-edged tail around and proceeds to regurgitate himself from his own mouth, as Kabuto did. The snakeskin quickly disintegrates into natural energy. Naruto uses one blade of the Susanoo to swing upwards, causing a massive shockwave to chase Manda across the ground. Predictably, Manda turns around at lightning speed and goes straight back towards Naruto. The Uchiha digs 4 blades into the ground, upturning it and making a ramp that forces Manda to skitter up it. Manda dips his head down to bite, only to be met with another 2 blades slashing and wounding his eye, taking a chunk off the side of his head. The 2 rear heads of the Iso Susanoo launch a flurry of massive fireballs that chase Manda instead of simply letting him dodge them. The Senjutsu-enhanced Katen behaves sporadically, and Manda is just barely quick enough to get away with 1 scorch wound. Smoke from the fireballs burning away the trees and grasslands rises up and clouds the sky, making his Susanoo shine brighter. Manda spits out giant snakes from his mouth, 1 blue, 1 red and 1 green. Naruto manages to ocularly control one of them to bite another, though the remaining one sweeps the Susanoo's legs out from under it, letting Manda get the jump on him and tackle him back down. Naruto laughs wildly, more excited than ever before. Kabuto is close, on Manda's head and smiling in his own demented way. The Susanoo plunges 3 blades into Manda's neck, locking him in place and allowing Naruto to leap from his construct onto Manda's head. The humanoid, still clad in Susanoo, tears its swords away and Manda's head falls to the ground. But while Manda once again regenerates, the essentially giant Makuten Bunshine keeps it occupied as Naruto and Kabuto clash. He grabs his gunbai from his back while Kabuto launches his sound and light jutsu. Channeling the chakra from it, he diverts it into the gunbai to avoid being torn apart and deafened. You've learned some new tricks. Kabuto dashes to his side, unaffected by his own jutsu and ready to strike with a disabling medical jutsu blazing on his hand. Naruto opens his mouth and lets out his own Senjutsu-enhanced deafening roar. It tears away the flesh of the head they're standing on and launches Kabuto to the hard ground. Naruto chases him with his glowing gunbai. A whirling ball of Amaterasu flames form in front of him, and he converts all of the energy he'd collected into Futon Chakra. Black flame blots their vision with one swing, disintegrating most of Kabuto. But surely enough, Kabuto replaces his body once more. He stows the gunbai, and the two engage in blurringly fast taijutsu. The landscape had never looked so barren. Sasuke doesn't allow his hatred to dominate his sense. He ducks and weaves under Itachi's speeding kicks, narrowly evading grips that would end up with him being thrown down. Jiraiya's masterful teaching of defensive taijutsu is the perfect supplement to the aggressive style given better shape by training with the Nibi's chakra. Itachi is getting increasingly frantic, trying to land blows. He certainly does, more than once, but Sasuke takes it. Endurance and resilience are key traits to lasting in a spar against Naruto. His brother fights alone, with training that groomed him specially for killing enemies that cannot fight back. Genjutsu cannot immobilize Sasuke, so no single hit kills from a disabled enemy. His body is strong, from rigorous training and sparring. His ninjutsu is refined with the help of Kakashi. Every piece of him is forged with the help of others. Itachi has nothing like it. As strong and genius as he is, Sasuke is the culmination of acceptance of help and love. Hatred in doing things on his own will not be enough. Have you nothing on your tongue? Itachi spits with hateful vitriol. My pity for you will do no good. Sasuke counters evenly. I have no dramatics left. You are my enemy, and you will fall to me. That is all. Itachi's face is painted with disgust and exhaustion. You would defend Konoha after all of this? They used my love for you against us, they wanted us dead and now you serve them like a dog on a leash, even after knowing the truth? And that is why I pity you. You didn't grow up with the same joy that I did. Itachi screams in anger and launches into another ferocious assault. Sasuke deftly cartwheels back, copying Itachi's moves with his Sharingan and using them against him. Itachi does not have the same endurance and speed, and can only be put on the back foot in the face of Sasuke's now aggressive moves. Sasuke-kun, the beast-said creature emerges from the chasm with a howl, pumping its chest with its fists. We aren't ready yet. But a huge bubble of water begins to tsunami towards it, suspending it on the edge of the compound. Even from here, he can read the transformed Kisame's lips through the occlusion of the bubble. You better finish this quick, kiddo. Sasuke lights his palm with Chidori and dashes. Blood spittles from Itachi's mouth, and his eyes morph again. The mirror shield absorbs Sasuke's attack and disperses the lightning. Itachi holds his hands over his eyes to wipe the blood away, making his Susanoo slash and crash around wildly with his lack of sight. Sasuke-kun. It's time. Yeah. Sasuke steals his heart. He looks at his broken brother, so full of hatred and sporadic. So unlike the Nissan he grew up with. This is mercy. Itachi was groomed from the start, he never had a chance at a happy life. Not while those people were in power. It's time to end this, once and for all. For the future of Konoha and the Uchiha clan. His body clads in purple chakra. He slips under the shield before it crushes him, and with all their might, they rip the shield from Itachi's Susanoo. Sasuke hits and hits with Chidori. The Susanoo begins to crack as more and more lightning chakra spools out into the atmosphere. The air is charged, and as the yellow light begins to fade, Sasuke puts one hand in the air and summons all of the lightning chakra around him and in the sky down upon Itachi. Kirin. The flash is blinding, but he closes his eyes and forms his Susanoo with Matatabi's chakra. The lightning beast crashes down. The Uchiha hideout is no more. Itachi is miraculously still standing. Although he is absent in mind, blood pouring from dark eyes and hair scorched away by lightning. Sasuke spears him through the chest. Goodbye, Nissan. Itachi coughs out chunks, and with one last hateful glare, takes his last breath. The beast snaps out of Itachi's enthrallment. Kisame is relieved, he can't keep absorbing this much by Jua chakra. It puts its monkey hands up in the gargantuan Suiten prison, a sign of peace or submission. Kisame lets the water cascade down and separates from Samata. It chitters at him happily, having gotten a delicious meal. I guess it's over. Kisame says to himself early. Now I just gotta survive that Naruto, hey. He makes his way up what remains of the flattened compound. Farewell, Itachi-san. Kisame bids respectfully. Sasuke looks up at him. Scary kid. Even Kisame doubted him at first, but he supposes that Baijuwa can be infinitely more terrifying when used like this. I'll deal with you later. Sasuke says to him dully. Kisame takes no offense. The kid clearly still had some love for his brother and needs a moment to recover. They stay silent, even as the bee lumbers over as quietly as it can. Hate to interrupt, Sasuke-san. But Obito could be here any minute to take the bee back. You're weakened from your fight and Naruto-san is busy, you're better off returning to Konoha with Itachi-san's body. Why did you help me? Sasuke rasps. I didn't really do it to help you, Kisame answers honestly. My ideals don't line up with Akatsuki's methods anymore. I don't much like liars, and I find myself not liking the idea of being trapped in an eternal one. That's all. Sasuke doesn't respond. One of his chakra tails does poke into the ground and pull Hidan out, though. It's so casual that Kisame thinks Sasuke doesn't realize how absurd it is that he's straight up bullying an S-rank criminal shinobi like that. Hi, Hidan. Kisame grins and swings Samata at him, shredding him to pieces before Sasuke can. Hidan drops and doesn't give any hint of him regenerating. How odd. Kisame pokes the pieces of his corpse to gauge for a reaction, but it seems that whatever Naruto did has robbed Hidan of his abilities. Looks like he's dead for good. I have a feeling that this isn't over. Sasuke mutters, a foreboding premonition. Kisame's grin falters. Suddenly Kabuto and Naruto appear by crash landing next to them. Naruto is holding Kabuto down by the head. They both heave deeply, Kabuto in worse condition and absent of senjutsu patterns on his face. Naruto has had his armor torn away, along with his sleeves. The blood on him probably was his, he simply healed from his wounds. Kabuto doesn't appear to have enough chakra left to do his weird body replacement. Naruto stands up, looking at Kisame. Hold him down, and I'll see to it that you're removed from Hinokuni's bingo book, so long as you don't commit any more atrocities in our lands. Aye aye, Skipper. Kisame mockingly salutes. Naruto goes over to Itachi's fallen body and unseals 2 jars filled with strange green liquid and starts harvesting Itachi's eyes. You think that this is a victory? Kabuto spits out globs of blood, still smiling away. It makes a menacing frontal image with his giant dead snake behind him in the distance, covered in the pieces of Naruto's wood creation. Enough out of you, Kabuto. Die with the pride of knowing you're the only man that's ever pushed me this far. Naruto doesn't turn away as he fills up the jars with Itachi's Sharingan. You idiots, Kabuto scolds wickedly. This was all part of his plan. A loud shout in the distance catches everyone's attention. Kushios, Getomazo. The bee looks alarmed. Get out of here now, humans. It shouts to them, before its eyes are ensnared by the Sharingan again. This can't be happening, not now. Naruto stumbles over to Sasuke, putting the eye jars in his obe. A plume of smoke erupts nearby. We need to go. I can't fight Obito and Nagato in my current condition. White Zetsu begin to emerge from the ground, though Kisame notes that there are many of them instead of just the one like he thought. They're all tinged blue, and Samada growls. They're full of Nibi chakra? Kisame is confused. Obito left them here. The 8 trigram seal is too complex to get through quickly, so he had some Zetsu here to absorb the ambient chakra from your battle that you stumbled into so perfectly. Kabuto laughs maniacally. Dark coffins emerge from the rubble. A dark green light begins to filter over the destroyed castle. It's a Susanoo. And rested in the jewel on its head is Obito. The white Zetsu gets sucked away by invisible force, heading straight towards the Ghetto Mazo. It swallows them whole. Now would be a good time if you got an escape plan. Kisame mentions idly. I need chakra, I can try one last thing. Naruto exclaims desperately. The bee begins to get absorbed by the Ghetto Mazo. Without a seal protecting it, it dissolves into the mouth rapidly. You can absorb chakra, right? Use as much of mine as you need. Kisame puts his fist out. Just take me with ya, won't ya? Ours too, we still have plenty to spare. Sasuke puts out his hand. Naruto absorbs as much as his body will allow him and re-enters Sage mode simultaneously. The dark marks under his eyes take shape once more, light blue chakra flares around him as he claps his hands together. Senpu, he says slowly, grinding his teeth together. A massive black shuriken hurls towards them. They hurtle out of the way, Sasuke grabbing Itachi's body while doing so. Makuten, Shinsasenju. With a mighty roar, Naruto summons what could only be described as a being from legends. Kisame finds himself several hundred feet higher than he should be. 1,000 arms or at least close to it, shrouding another humanoid, with another humanoid sitting on its head. It is so massive that even Samada wilts at the thought of trying to absorb that much chakra. Naruto calls forth his Susanoo before punches start flying, and Kisame makes his escape with the 2 alive Uchiha and 1 dead. Cataclysmic noise can be heard as the Ghetto Mazo and Obito's Susanoo try to combat it. It won't last forever, but it has bought them enough time to escape. Obito's Susanoo flies through the construct, though instead of chasing them, it throws more of those black shuriken that teleport pieces of Naruto's jutsu somewhere to protect the statue. Pain seems to be trying to blast it away with the power of gravity. Kisame nearly sighs in relief when a small wooden moon begins to form in the distance, far away from them. He wonders just how long Yakushi Kabuto can last in a world where Uchiha Naruto is out for his blood. Tsunade is alarmed when Naruto's Susanoo fades mid-flight. Jiraiya. She calls out desperately. On it. Gamabunta appears under Naruto, on his back. He inflates his stomach to soften the fall for the 4 bodies. Quite the welcome party. Kisame compliments. He's with us. Naruto blocks them from attacking, falling to the ground in exhaustion. What happened? We could feel your chakra from half a nation away. Tsunade can't lean down far enough to check on him with her bulging stomach. Obito has Nibi chakra, the B and the Gobi. Naruto dry heaves. This is it, this is the end. He's going to go for the others in one fell swoop. Tsunade barks out orders to everyone in sight, telling them to go into full lockdown and prepares many parties for rescue missions. Kisame doesn't think it'll make a difference, but he's along for the ride now, so hey, why not enjoy it while it lasts? That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.